Hello! Welcome to Savage Sounds. Today we're going to be talking about this little bad boy, which is a microphone. I'm going to talk about microphone technique. So it's going to be a quick one because it's quite simple, really. When you first start beatboxing, you probably don't have any equipment. That's the best thing about beatboxing. You don't need all these fancy, schmancy, expensive equipment. No microphone and no amps. But if you get to a stage where you think, actually, I want to start performing on stage, I want to take this a bit more seriously, then it is really good to practice with a microphone because it feels very, very different, especially with the bass and everything that comes back from the monitors. So the monitors are the little speakers that are on stage that give you the sound, give you your sound back so you can hear what you're doing on stage, basically. And when you very first go on stage, if you've got proper monitors, it can feel a bit overwhelming because you're like, whoa, I'm just used to being in my bedroom going... And now it's like you can feel the bass rumbling. So yeah, it's important to get used to microphones. So this is an SM58 microphone by Shure. It's probably the most widely used industry standard mic, and it's great for beatboxing. I think they cost about 60 quid, but you can get them secondhand for cheaper. I've probably got about 2 or 3 of them just in case as backups and ones that I've collected over the years. This one's got my name on it, Grace Savage, so that I don't lose it. That sometimes people do that. They buy certain coloured cables or put stickers on so that if you go to a gig, you don't get confused and pick up someone else's microphone. Especially in these COVID times, I've always been a stickler for sticking to your own microphone and not sharing it and sharing spit, but even more so now, always take your own microphone to a gig. You don't want to be using some old crusty microphone head. In fact, I've got a story that I'm going to tell you. When I was performing with the vocal orchestra, Shlomo and the vocal orchestra a few years ago, we were doing 7 or 8 shows a week, and it was an hour-long a cappella show, so I was just beatboxing throughout the whole show every week, and it went on for about 6 weeks. So I kept saying to the stage crew, like, would you mind cleaning the microphone? Because you take off this metal grill, then there's like a little cushiony bit underneath, and when you're beatboxing there's quite a lot of spit involved, so I'm spitting into it quite a lot, so it gets quite wet. And what you can do often is just take the grill off, take that off, wash it in warm soapy water, and that keeps it clean, because it can get a bit crusty, which is a bit gross. Anyway, so I said, would you please clean this? I don't think they did clean it, because about halfway through the run, about 3 weeks in, I was dancing and beatboxing, and I did an inward snare where you're sucking in the air at the same time, and I just swallowed all the spit that had been sitting in the microphone head for the past 3 weeks. I went, and all the spit, the warm, salty spit just went to my mouth, and I had no choice but to swallow it and carry on beatboxing. So I had a word with the stage manager afterwards. I was like, they need to wash the microphones. At least it was my own spit, but hopefully that is a story, and that is enough. That story is enough to put you off. Oh my god, I can't get my words out. Hopefully that story is enough to put you off using other people's microphone. That was a sentence I was trying to find. Get your own microphone and stick to your own microphone. Okay, so singers, normally, I think they're told to have the microphone about 2 finger width away. So you sing here, yeah, and they all do this hand stuff. God, I hate that. You're not playing the trumpet, babes. Okay, so singers there, ha, ha, ha. And then when you're beatboxing, you literally want your lips to be touching the grill. Like, yeah, give them a little kiss. And then what you're going to do is get your hand. You're going to create a little hole. There. About that size. And your lips are going to be touching that. The rest of your mouth is going to be around your hands. So, like that. Okay? So here's what it sounds like without the microphone. And with. That is with no EQ or anything, so that just shows you that it makes it louder, basically. But also, the reason that we close off that amount, if I beatbox into the microphone, off, I'm making sure all the sound is going directly into the microphone, and none of it is allowed to escape outside the sides like that. So some people do this, but they forget to put their lips close enough, so they'll beatbox about this far away. The same thing happens. You want to be right on top of that microphone head. Now, I'm not a sound engineer. I can't tell you about all the fancy schmancy stuff that sound engineers do, but I've learnt a little bit along the way. And when you want to EQ your own beatboxing, what I was told is to make sure there are no high pass filters on the input channel. You get your low, your middle, and your top end. Okay, so the low you want turned quite high up, not too high. The mids you want to turn down, and your highs you want to turn up. So it's kind of like how you would EQ a drum kit. So you get lots of bass, lots of highs, so you don't miss out on all that nice crisp high stuff. And I don't know why you scoop out the mids. If someone could tell me, that would be great. But I was always told to scoop out the mids. When I learnt that sentence, I felt like such a G. I was like 21, and I'd be going to my beatboxing 5-minute beatboxing sets, and I'd be like, excuse me, could you scoop out the mids, mate? And everyone's like, who is this young girl who's talking about EQing? So yeah, it's a great little sentence, that. And when I learned about high pass filters, that was my favourite sentence as well. Could you get rid of the high pass filters going through the input channel? Still don't really know what it means, but I know that it's important, and it makes me sound like I know my shit. So yeah, finding good sound engineers that understand beatboxing, unfortunately, is quite difficult, because it is still a relatively new thing. And we're doing things to the microphone that normally they're told to avoid. Singers are always told to keep a distance and all sorts. So yeah, making sure you get a good sound engineer on board, or knowing your stuff so you can tell the sound engineer without being patronising, because sound engineers can be a bit sensitive. You have to be nice to your sound engineers, because they're going to be the ones making you sound good at the end of the day. The amount of gigs I've done and the sound engineer wasn't very good, or the sound system wasn't very good, and people just don't pay attention. You could be the best beatboxer in the world. If you've got bad sound coming out the microphone, coming out the amp, people just think, oh, what's that horrible noise? You can be a not very good beatboxer, but if it sounds sick and you've got a sound engineer to make it sound punchy and crisp, you can get people's head nodding. So yeah, once you get into this side of things, sound is your best friend. Sound is very, very important with beatboxing. Gosh, I said this was going to be a quick one, but I've just gone on and on and on and on and on and on. So that is microphone technique. Eventually, when you're making your millions of dollars, you could buy this one. Also, Shure. It is an SM7B. It's an amazing microphone. I use it a lot for singing and beatboxing. But that's like 350 quid or something. This will do you lovely. It is an amazing microphone. I use it all the time when I'm performing. Okay, that's Savage Sound. I will see you next week.